Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healing Conversations. And you're with me, your counselor, Catherine. In today's talk, we'll look at the issue that has affected many lives, the issue that has maybe affected relationships, also families or marriages have been broken because of these issues. This is one of the least talked subject at the moment, but obviously it's affecting communities, affecting churches, affecting societies, as I've said, and many more things, even individuals themselves. Throughout the year 2020, a lot of things have happened. And one thing that we have talked here in Malawi is the issue of suicide, increase of suicide. So many people have ended their lives for so many different reasons. We can sit here and talk about it, but the question and my plea to you is that as a family, as individuals, as a country, what are we doing to help people that are suicidal, people that have suicidal thoughts? You know, it's quite disappointing, it's quite heartbreaking rather, that as young as 15-year-olds are committing suicide. That's very sad. As young as 10-year-olds are committing suicide. That's very sad. It shouldn't happen because a 10-year-old is a child. A 15-year-old is a child. Where do they have time to start hating themselves so much that they want to end their life? They haven't even lived to start thinking about that. Anyway, that's the story for another time. But I want us to discuss briefly in this first part about substance abuse. That's the issue I want to talk about, especially in this festive season. There are so many young people that are in a trap, that they'll find themselves in a trap of abusing substances, whether it's alcohol, whether it's all other those things that make one lose themselves. So there are so many things. Now, one thing that we need to know is that we need to underline the word abuse. When there's abuse, it means there's a violation of something. Now, this could be about a person's human rights, but we're talking about substances abuse and alcohol abuse. It means that with certain things, when you consume them in moderate amounts, it's okay. It's not harmful. All right? It's okay. It's the same way we talk about sugar. If you take sugar in small amounts, it's okay. But the same sugar, yes, that is sweet in our mouth. If you take them in large amounts, it's quite harmful to your body. Now, these are the things we want to talk about. Now, there has been an increase of substance abuse, several substances. Some have names, some don't have names. They have different effects on human beings. Some of them, even when people mention them to you, you wonder, what is this thing? Where was it born? How did it come? You know, so many things that are happening in our world today. I've had people in my counseling sessions, some of them, when they mention something, I have no clue of what that thing is all about. But when they tell you, when you ask for clues, what it does to them, you only think that this is the worst thing that is happening to a human being. Now, I want to talk about the substance abuse in relation to the emotional pain that people have. Now, when we talk of the causes, what makes people to start abusing drugs or whatever the substances? There are several of them. There are some people, they started it because they felt like, okay, this is life. I have money. I can do whatever I want to do with my money. And they end up in that trap. To some people, it's because maybe of peer pressure. They said, okay, why are you doing this? I remember there have been several clients of mine, you ask them how they started, they'll be like, oh, I found a group of young people doing it, and I asked them, they would say, if you want to know what we feel, try it. And then she has no choice, or they have no choice, they'll try it, and in the end they fall into the trap. So there are so many causes, there are so many things that will make people to go into that. However, I want to focus on the emotional pain in families. in marriages, I want to talk about the things that we don't talk about. The things that we think like, okay, she's okay. You see, Catherine is fine. There's nothing wrong with her. You know, she has loving parents. She comes from a family, a well-to-do home. Everything is okay with her. You know, she's strong, the way she looks, everything is fine. And you look at me, who'd say I've got something wrong with me? Those are the things I want to talk about. There are so many young men coming from a well-to-do families. You know, middle family, what do you call them? Middle families, or whatever you call them. You know, their statuses is quite high. But you find them abusing drugs. You find them taking harmful substances. Is it because they have too much money? Is it because their parents give them everything that they want to do? Those are the things we need to talk about. How best do we know our children? How best do we know our family members to the extent of the things that they are doing? Now, emotional pain can be hectic. Emotional pain is very traumatic. Now, there are so many causes of emotional pain, so many of them. Now, let's look at the things that, for example, if someone has lost a loved one, maybe through a tragic way, an accident or just a sudden death, and this is a child. Maybe, let's put it, this is a man, a young man, and maybe in our society, they are not allowed properly to grieve over the loved one. That will cause emotional pain. They will not be able to describe because everyone else is expecting them to move on with their life. Their dad has money. They can move on with their life. He'll be giving them money, gadgets, and everything else. Now, that's another side of the story. But there are also other child traumatic events that happened to people. Now, you see someone like me, you wouldn't know what happened to me when I was young. All right, you wouldn't unless I tell you. But those are the things that still cause emotional stress in me, that still cause pain in me. Sometimes I even fail to act or do things in a productive way because of those child traumatic incidences that happened to me. Now, all these things, when you take them, you give them to an individual. As people, we cope with things differently. The way I cope with things is different with somebody else. The same event, maybe the same things, the way they happened, but the way we're going to cope and relate and respond to those situations would be quite different. Now, there are times when people, because of emotional pain, obviously people don't sleep. All right, they won't sleep. They have these anxieties. Maybe they have so many things that go through their mind. They can't breathe in properly. They are failing even just to lay down on bed and fall asleep. When some people are talking about, oh, how easily they go to bed and sleep, to them, they're like, what are you talking about? They can stay 2 days in a row without sleeping. If they sleep, to them, it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Something is not right. We are made to rest. We are meant to have, to recuperate when we go to sleep. We forget all the things we get. When we get up in the morning, we are refreshed, energized. We are ready to face the new day. But these are the people, they don't even know whether it's day, whether it's night. They're taking things that are destroying them. Now, the society judges a lot. And we're going to come to that point at some point. I've said we're going to do this in several parts. The society judges a lot. We see someone abusing substances. We see someone, a little boy, a little girl, taking all these things. What do? She does not listen. He does not listen to the parents. And what do parents do? We bring in tougher punishments, stiff punishments to those children, just to punish them, to show them that what they are doing is bad. Let me tell you, many of them know that what they are taking is not good, is destroying their bodies. But not many of them, they'll tell you what they are feeling, what emotional pain they have underneath. They'll tell you, they know that the things that I'm taking are quite destructive. They know that I've got the chances of ending up in the street and be, that crazy person, be the madman in the street. They know all those things, but they still take the risk of doing that. A lot of people are self-medicating. Because this is part one, I'll stop there. But I just want us to reflect in this festive season and be with our loved ones. Let's try to be closer to them. Let's find out what is bothering them. Let's find out. I know sometimes as a family, we may not know. We may not be able to address those things. That's why we have people that can help us. We have institutions in our countries where we can go and even ask for help so that people get help. No person is on his own, or no family is on his own. We need to hold hands so that this issue, we are able to tackle it. As I've said, and I'm promising that I'll come back with part 2, even part 3, because this issue is quite long. There's a lot of issues that we need to address in this substance and alcohol abuse. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good time.